What's going on, people? Okay, sorry. Hey, guys, what's going on? It's RDX podcast time.
884.
RDX podcast time. We've got a ton of good news for you guys. Some new announcements from some Xbox executives. We're talking about Digital Foundry's comparisons and all that good stuff. But most importantly, we've got one main announcement, and that is that South is now a member of RDX podcast. Brother, welcome. Thanks for coming on and being a part of this, man.
Yes. Thank you very much. It's officially official. I am RDX.
It's officially official. I asked you if you were down. You said, fuck yeah. So we're making it happen. And once again, guys, we appreciate the support. If you're tuning in early, you are the cream of the crop. Finger bang that like button. Let us know what you think as we go along. And really, while we let people kind of stream in, we're going to talk about the deals with gold real quick, as well as the games with gold. And Colt's going to lead the charge on that. And then we'll filter into some of the heavier hitting topics.
All right.
That's your cue.
That's my cue. First, for deals with gold right now, there's a couple good things on there. Bulletstorm Remaster Full Clip Edition is $30, half off. So is that worth it to you guys?
You know what? I think I might buy it for half off. That's pretty good.
You can play
when the original on the 360, it was funny to me. I'd laugh my ass off when you're that big ass mech and he's talking shit and he's singing songs. Dude, I was in tears. It was funnier than shit.
Yeah, Cole, just ramble through them, man. Just run through them. I'm sure people don't want to fucking sit on this shit forever, but you got Bulletstorm for $30. Really, what it should have launched at, brand new.
Yeah, those remasters should be cheaper. You've got 2 Forza 6 expansions, a VIP pack for $5, and the Fast and the Furious car pack for $5. I don't usually buy stuff like that.
Yeah.
Mafia 3 has 3 different versions, but the base game is $25 on deals with gold. Not bad, right?
No, that's not bad at all.
Rainbow Six, the complete edition, which is a $95 deal, is down to $55. If you care about that sort of thing, people love that game. And then, best of all, if you want to pay nothing other than your $60 a year, games with gold games. First is Oxygen Free, which is a side scroller on the Xbox One, and then on the 360 you get Hydro Thunder, classic like arcade boat racing game, and Battlefield 3, which I think is 2011 game, which is awesome. Great Battlefield game, great campaign. Of course, people love the multiplayer. Multiplayer is still supported, and then for free on Xbox One, Forza 5.
Forza 5. And really, we wanted to get those out of the way, guys. I just realized I forgot to introduce the rest of the fucking panel. I know
fuck everybody. It's all about me.
Here's the deal with Fonzarelli and All Day. Both of them are getting vasectomies right now. So, of course, they can't be here this week. They should be back next
Colt
week.
got them 2-for-1 deal.
Yeah,
I've got
together on the.
Colt had a buy 2 get 2 free. So we got D-Batch. We got D-Bash to fill in, and we've also, like I said, Sal's a new member. And, of course, let us know what you've been up to, D, before we get to the rest of the people.
Man, I've been fucking eye-deep in TVs for the last week and a half. I've been doing
eye-deep in TDs? TVs?
Yeah.
Okay.
STDs?
I honestly tell you, I've been doing TVs for like the last, week and a half. And I've been doing a lot of tests on a lot of them. And we're also set up at a public place here. And it's just been a lot. It's been overwhelming. And I have an upcoming OLED versus QLED that's going to be coming up soon as I'm done this event here. But it's going to be very, very interesting. So stay tuned for that. And that's pretty much it.
Awesome. And they can catch you on Xbox Beat Fire right after this on Zaire's channel next in 720. Luca, what have you been up to? Let us know how you been.
Hey man, what's up? Excited to be here. Happy to have Salfie as a member. He's a real cool guy. I haven't been up to too much. Just relaxing, just chilling, just preparing myself mentally, physically, emotionally for the X. You know what I mean?
Yeah,
doing this console war bullshit on Twitter, fighting these trolls. Just enjoy myself, man.
Yeah, just tape facts to a stick and wave it around. They run off. So, Colt, how you been? What have you been up to, bro?
Really good. I've been really good. This has been a great time to be an Xbox gamer. I've been having a good time. Got my Scorpio edition pre-ordered. I'm super excited for that. Woo! Nothing but good news coming down the pipe. And if you guys care about entertaining videos. Dealer and I are going to work on something this week that'll be pretty fun. That'll be. I'm excited. It's exciting to work with Dealer.
Yeah, we should have that released Thursday, Friday at the latest. And
yeah,
and like he just told you guys, games like Mafia 3 and stuff are going to be a deals with gold game this week. Mafia 3 is getting Xbox One X support, so I'm actually going to go back and kind of visit that again. I'm going to talk about Lawbreakers real quick. This is a kind of a late topic, but somebody linked me to this. My buddy Anthony on Twitter showed me the concurrent players for Lawbreakers just before we get into this. I don't know if any of you guys saw that. If you did, don't guess. But anyone who didn't see the tweet that I kind of replied to, how many players do you think have been on Lawbreakers in the last 24 hours?
2,000.
Okay. 2,000?
2,500.
2,500?
I'd say 200.
All right.
What is this? Price is Right?
Anyone else? Anyone else?
Can I get $1?
Come on down.
All right. South, well, no, you're all frauds. It's actually around 500 people.
Wow.
That's really bad.
What?
So, yeah.
Dude, are you serious?
I think Evolve
that's
has
really bad.
That's really bad. So
that's like
I
crying a corner bad, man. Wow.
Oh yeah, it's really bad. You just take some pills and forget it all. So it's that bad. So we don't wish a failure on anybody really, but definitely expect that game to go free to play. It was initially planned as some kind of free to play, so I'm sure those elements are still there. We'll see how that goes. But yeah, Lawbreakers is doing pretty bad and not the greatest. I also wanted to talk about the head of Xbox operations. He compares the X1X to a PC instead of a PS4 Pro. This isn't news to anybody, but it's cool to see executives ramping this up, right? We want to see them be a bit more aggressive. They do it versus Apple, and Sony does it versus them all the time. I like to see this stuff. Any thoughts there with you guys when it comes to this?
They do need to be more aggressive. Yeah, they need to do more. Right now, they've got the console worth bragging about, so they need to brag. They need to bust some balls and show people that this thing is doing everything they promised. I mean, it's just about doing everything they promised. There's a lot of talk that we've heard since the spring when this thing was announced, and Digital Foundry said way back in March or April that the Scorpio was looking to be what they said it would be, and that's continued to be true. So come on, Microsoft, brag about it, right?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
What about you, Luca?
Yeah, there's nothing wrong with showing confidence in your product. I think they should be more aggressive with everything, to be perfectly honest. They have the better system, so they should run with that.
I mean, that's what you're supposed to do. You don't see the guy that's behind Nike's marketing commenting Reebok or vice versa. Microsoft, as Red Dragon pointed out here recently, and of course it was something we had said before, they're very aggressive towards Apple. They will put an iPhone in their commercial and try to crush whatever aspect they have an advantage in. They will destroy that other product right there in that commercial. And that's really cool, right? We've all seen that. So what about you, D? What do you think about the head of operations for Xbox? Saying basically PS4 Pro is not worth comparing to. We're kind of looking towards the PC spectrum of things.
Well, it is quite comparable to a PC in some aspects, to be honest with you. And according to Digital Foundry, even a little bit higher than PC in some cases. But the fact that you have Digital Foundry selling the Xbox One X more than Microsoft, that is a problem. Obviously I'm already sold on the console, but I'm sure these analysis that Digital Foundry have been doing lately and the praises that they've been singing for Xbox is turning some fans towards Xbox. And Microsoft, they're not really doing anything. Like their Gamescom was really, really poor. They actually had games on display there, and it was Digital Foundry that was talking about these games, not Microsoft. So they got to be a lot more aggressive, in my opinion.
Yeah, but you have to remember that Digital Foundry's been shitting on them the last 3-4 years. You know what I mean? So it's nice to have them on their side for once. And they got good momentum with all the pre-orders, sold out within hours when they expected it to last a week and 10 days, 7 to 10 days. So, they should definitely take advantage of the momentum that they started.
Exactly.
Yeah, definitely ride that wave,
And we got to give a shout out to Mooch and Lethal Papa and all those guys in the chat. You guys are cool.
Moochie.
Mooch, my Italian Eminem.
Also, too, I forgot to mention this at the beginning. I'm giving away a copy of Sonic Mania on Twitter. Today's the final day. I'm announcing the winner at the end of the show. Thanks to Lethal Papa for giving us that code. Real supporter of the show, awesome guy. So if you want to participate, go follow me at dealer_gaming. Follow me there to enter, and I'll look through the recent followers too when I consider who gets this code, basically. So Basically, guys, pretty cool. Microsoft stepping it up. I want to see that more aggressive marketing. I'm sure you remember, Sal, when Microsoft used to compare just one exclusive for, what was it, 2012, and they would say Halo 4 outsold every single PS3 exclusive combined this year. You remember that stuff?
Yeah, that was nice.
They were very aggressive. And there's nothing wrong with that. You know, they're doing their job. So
Ain't nothing wrong with letting your nuts hang every now and then. You know what I mean?
Sure, yeah. As long as you're not like walking near a spike strip or anything, you're fine. I would reckon.
And I hope that they. I heard the rumor that they're going to be putting some kiosks out. So I hope they're aggressive with this soon, putting this in, where gamers are, like EB Games, Best Buy and whatnot, so gamers can actually see it. Thursday, I'm going to an event, and the Xbox One X is going to be there. We're not 100% sure if it's playable. I hope to God it is, and if it is, I'm going to upload some of that footage.
Yep. It should be, D.
Well, I mean, in either case, interestingly enough, Alex Escobar thinks that 900p makes you a better gamer. I mean, hey, all on you, Alex. That's a weird opinion, but good for you, buddy. I'm glad you can type.
He's a huge troll. He's a huge troll.
Troll's the word. That's king of the trolls. We got Ark Survival Edition, Evolved Edition. Ark Survival Evolved developer talking about the Xbox One X version. We heard a lot about this game. Recently, they had said that it was going to be 1080p 60 with, what was it, high settings or something like that. Recently, they confirmed 1440, so double 1080 30, I think, maybe dynamic. I don't remember. Wow. With high settings on the X1X, so they've doubled the resolution on it. They said they might add that 60 frames per second back in, that option. And they're also saying that there are at least one feature on the X1X version that no other console has, the ability to get rid of tethering to the host. So that for those that don't know, when you join a game in Ark Survival Evolved, you join the host server. When you kind of hang out with your buddy in his world, you've got to stay close to him, or it'll restrict how far you can go away, or to kick you out, or whatever it does. On the Xbox One X, it has enough memory to where you can go as far away as you want on the map and still stay in the game. So that's the only console that gets to do that, thanks to the extra RAM. I thought this is pretty interesting, seeing as it's not possible on any other console, according to the developer. And I know I've got some hardcore Ark Survival Evolved guys in the chat. Let me know what you think. What do you guys think about this?
I think the 1440p is quite interesting because this game is kind of crippling on the PC, man. Like, even if you have a quite comparable rig, you're not getting the best frame rate or at a high resolution, at least the last time I checked in this game. So that's quite promising to the power that Xbox One X actually has.
Yeah, and they did confirm high settings at 1440 as well, where every other console they said was at medium settings, so and much lower resolution. So, of course, the settings thing is the thing we're most excited about, but resolution jumps are definitely a plus, especially in games with a lot of foliage. South, what do you think about this, man?
You know what? If they have any kind of leg up on the competition, it's just a plus. So like I said, you got to take this momentum and ride that wave, like Lucas said.
You know
what
take
I mean?
advantage of it. Yeah.
I agree.
Anytime you got something that the other guys don't have, you kind of just gotta go neener.
That's a good marketing point.
Yeah,
just stick your tongue out. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
South, the best part about this is we're continuing to get proof, and they keep showing us that this Xbox is more than just a resolution increase. It's doing way more than resolution, because there's some games that we're looking at that may be 1800p or checkerboarded on the Xbox. Not many of them, but you can see where the priority is: stable frame rates and a lot more effects, which is the stuff that you're going to show off to your buddy when he sits down and sees your game.
And the funny thing about it is, the first 3 years it was all about frame rate, resolution, and everything else. And now that the One X is coming out, now all of a sudden it doesn't matter. So I don't know. It's just weird. That bothers me.
Yeah, like Alex in the chat there used to talk about that all the time, but now it's all about the game. So that's good stuff. There's been a lot of people kind of switch the narrative, and they can try, but you're just going to be reminded of what a fraud you are every single time Digital Foundry do a comparison. It's going to be great. And shout out to all 400 people watching already. We appreciate it. Hit that like button, guys. Colt, you got any thoughts on this whole capability when it comes to Ark and what you can do?
Ark's not a game I'm really interested in, but it's just, there's power there, and they're obviously using it, so it's just proof that it's got the power. I'm just glad that it's It's a good machine. I'm excited for it.
Well, I agree.
Yeah, and they should use this to their advantage. I'm sure there's going to be a lot of games coming out where the X is going to have features that the other consoles do not, you know. And I think they should say, hey, you should get this game here because it's the definitive version. It has this stuff and this stuff. You don't have to be tethered to your host. Like stuff like that doesn't mean much to me when I first hear it, but then when you actually think about it, it's like, oh, okay, so if this is what's going on with the X now, like I can only imagine what's going to go on with other games. You know what I mean?
Mm-hmm.
Well, it's good that you pointed that out because the elephant in the room is definitely PUBG. So you know, how long was Arc in preview? So
like
you know.
year?
Yeah, about a year and a half or something like that.
Something
So
crazy.
I think you got to take some cues from them because, you know, PUBG is going to be in preview for a while. So, you know, can't wait to see how everything shapes up.
Yeah, PUBG is still not a complete game. That's worth mentioning. So it's literally just a mod from a different game that's still coming together on PC. I think they've got a team in Spain porting the Xbox version. And so far, they've confirmed that it's got better vaulting over objects. I think jumping, slightly better animations when doing certain things on console, which is actually cool. And they've confirmed that it's running over 30 frames, around 40 frames per second. This early in development with 100-man service, which is great. So I think we can go in on that.
I'm sure you can bet that Microsoft's sending their engineers over there to make it the best they can.
Yeah, and it's finished enough because people are absolutely loving it on Steam. You know, 8 million sold. There's, I don't know how many concurrent players they have. It's pretty close to Lawbreakers.
Hey, we got to give a shout out to Mel and Def Jam Bam. What's going on, guys? Thanks for checking us out. We appreciate it. Hit that like button, guys. We'd appreciate that even more. Microsoft confirms the Xbox One X is the fastest selling pre-order of all time for Xbox. That is absolutely insane. We got to cover this a little bit. I mean, there's a lot going on about this, right? Colt, what do you think about this?
Actually, I thought I'd like to hear from the panel, like kind of real quick, tell us your day one on Sunday experience pre-ordering the Xbox One.
Oh, mine was real hectic. I was working that day, so I missed the damn show. I'm like texting Z saying, "Yo, did they announce it yet for pre-orders?" Like, no, they haven't announced it yet. And I had like 5 minutes, like I could take, you know, a breather, and I went on it, and I saw that they announced it. I went onto Amazon, and right away I pre-ordered it, and that was the end of that, and I got it. And then luckily for me, the Microsoft store, I was in their Microsoft store, I don't know, like 2 weeks ago, and I left them my number, and they called me and said, "Hey, it's available for pre-order. Would you like one?" And I pre-ordered one there too. So
nice,
just in case, right?
Very nice, very nice. Yeah. I was actually out at lunch with my friend, and I didn't want to go in and like, you know, start getting ready to go and whatever. When after we finished, I was sitting in my car just watching the show, and I was like, "When is this pre-order going to be announced? This show's boring." And then my Lady Foxfighter, she texted me. She's like, "Hey, pre-orders are out," and I immediately went to Amazon. I pre-ordered one. I went to Best Buy and I pre-ordered one. Funny thing is, it's cheaper on Best Buy than it is on Amazon. It's like a $20 difference. So I don't know what's up with that, but I got mine, so that's all that matters.
Awesome.
Yeah, I personally, I didn't want to have that thing shipped to me and for it to sit on my porch for any given amount of time. So I went to GameStop and gave them some money, unfortunately. So I'll be going there midnight and picking that up, swooping it up. Not really.
Did you wear a mask when you went in there, so no one?
My local GameStop were being some douchebags because you know, as soon as they announced it, you know, I seen people on Twitter, you know, getting their pre-orders in at GameStop. So I called my local, "Oh, I know they announced it, but yeah, we don't have it in our system." So I'm thinking, you know, BS. So I just to cover my ass, I jumped on Amazon, pre-ordered it there, and then shot over to GameStop. And oh, lo and behold, they got it available. You know what I mean? So I pre-ordered 2 at GameStop, and then I got 1 at Amazon. So
nice.
Indy says, "GameStop, really, dealer?" Yes, GameStop, man. I didn't have much of a choice, man. You got to understand, I was desperate. So basically, they also did confirm on Amazon or whatever, according to their numbers, that the pre-orders alone on Amazon has already sold the PS4-Pro for the whole year, which is pretty impressive, given that the Xbox One X was not in unlimited supply like the Pro. Like you can just go get a Pro anytime you want. So I think that's awesome. The fact they confirmed the fastest selling pre-orders of all time for Xbox.
I'm not
is
clear on
another
that.
great sign, and it's doing it all at $500. That's absolutely awesome for the console.
Let me say something. I haven't been really clear or gotten a clear answer on that. Did it actually sell? Amazon said it sold more units than the PS4 Pro did this year.
It was like, I think it's in the top 50 for the year for 2017 so far since it's been announced for pre-order.
That is nuts. It's so funny because, you know, those of you that followed the Scorpio development and all that, people said it was going to be an $800 console, and then even at $499, so many people told us that that thing would never sell.
Oh yeah, and oddly enough, they said it was going to be 1,000, and then it was 700, and then it was, you know, even 6, and now that it's 5, it's still too much. So you know, it's one of those things where you just can't win. It is what it is. I think, you know, all the signs are there. It's going to do really well. It's already got over 3 times the amount of patches for day one that Pro has 2 months before launch. Pro had 40. This already has over 120, and that's 2 months before launch, and you're going to have more by then. So those saying it wouldn't get support also were very wrong. There's just a lot of naysayers, don't really get it. But shout out to 500 people watching live. Hit that like button, guys. We appreciate it. As we go into Digital Foundry playing 10 games at Gamescom, running on Xbox One X. I'm sure you guys have heard about this, right?
Oh yeah.
So
yeah,
go in
it's
on this.
all I've heard about, honestly.
Go in on this, South. Let us know your thoughts. Quantum Break getting a patch. I know that's one of your favorites, man. And South died.
Yeah. The funny thing is they almost missed it. If you listen to the beginning of their video, they said that the actual playable Xbox were kind of tucked in the corner with those games they tried out.
Oh yeah,
yeah.
Surrounded by the sand, the quicksand pits, and barbed wire and stuff. Yeah. D, what do you think about these 10 games Digital Foundry played?
I don't know why Microsoft didn't show these games. I don't understand it. This console is launching in November. You open up the pre-orders. You want to continue this momentum like Southbound was saying. Why would you not show the games? Because Digital Foundry seemed to be impressed with the games. There was nothing wrong with them. They weren't suffering from any type of performance issues, and they were quite impressed. They were really impressed, because for Digital Foundry to come out and like compliment the Xbox brand, you know, they have to be really impressed, because they've been really hard on it for the last 4 years. So why is Microsoft not showing this?
That's facts. And Microsoft, that's really odd that Phil Spencer mentioned some kind of comparison. I thought they were going to throw one together, and he reconfirmed it later where they might see something like that. But then Aaron Greenberg was kind of standoffish about it. And maybe he was just out of the loop. I don't know. But we need that comparison video. It is necessary. It needs to be in the highest fidelity as possible. And you're not going to see full fidelity over YouTube. You never will. But you're going to get a better idea. Just one screenshot just destroyed Twitter and had so many people bleeding. It was crazy. So yeah, I can imagine they could do some damage.
If I could just say one thing, like when that screenshot you're talking about with Tomb Raider, honest to tell you, if I was solely a PS4 Pro owner and I saw that, I'd be pretty salty right about now, because there was a stark difference. Like it was dramatic.
Even without the marks on her face, the clarity and the quality of that image was much better. And that's just one image, so keep that in mind. You know, I mean, the foliage, the lighting, that's the stuff they should have put side by side, but they just didn't have that. They apparently didn't have that footage. So I don't know. I've seen some gameplay running on X1X of Tomb Raider on the Xbox One channel, and I think another channel. They're actually playing it and showing it off before the stream. I think that's today. So good news either way.
I want to see some new games. You know what I mean? I want to see the comparisons on new games that are coming out. You know, I want to see like a Destiny or, you know, a Shadow of War, you know?
Well, yeah, like Wolfenstein would
exactly.
Would great.
I think they'd be a little more standoffish on that, because those games haven't released, and they don't want to make people feel like, you know, oh, I'm getting the base PS4 or the Xbox One S version, so I'm not getting as much for my same $60. And like, they don't want to show you how much shittier the version you're going to get looks better than, you know, than the one that they're going to come out with on the X. So they're going to probably show you older games.
Well, I'm going to have an X, so I mean,
of course, you're like, fuck those guys. I got an X.
Exactly.
You want better, you pay for better, I guess, right?
Witcher 3 is one that needs to be shown off because that game is how it's meant to be on the X. I guarantee it in regards to its visuals. Fallout 4 can be a very gorgeous-looking game on PC. That's a game that could not stretch its legs on console. So they need to show some of these games and really get the message across. That's just what I think. What do you think, Luca?
Oh yeah, I definitely agree. Like, show us what we're paying for. I know that we're gonna get the console regardless, but I would like to see the differences. That would be awesome.
Yeah,
Also,
yeah.
I mean, you would think it would shut naysayers up, but considering how I've seen PC and PlayStation guys acting on Twitter, maybe not.
Well, the more they react, the better, because it's worth reacting to. And this isn't anything that we haven't been telling them for a year. At least myself and several other people in the community, we've been telling them this for a year. So I'm just kind of weirded out that Digital Foundry are finally coming around to admitting that they are holding their 4K promise, because they're tech guys as well, right? I'm just an enthusiast, but they get paid to do this. And if I'm sitting here saying, obviously, with this memory bandwidth and this power, you should be able to do 4K, then they should have been able to say this a long time ago. It's kind of confusing.
Well, to be fair, dealer, the majority of what they've said, like a big majority of what they've said, has been very positive and faithful to what they think the Scorpio will deliver. But there have been those few. They'll say a couple things where they have doubts because they didn't know what the X could do, in the spring and in the summer, and that's what people who are anti-Xbox have latched onto. And those are the things that we're seeing come to fruition right now. That the memory bandwidth is making a difference. The 4K textures and the assets, like we were talking about Tomb Raider, it's going to have more clarity since it's going to be native 4K. But those 4K assets is what, when you look at a side-by-side comparison with the Pro, that is it's running checkerboard, I think, 4K. But it's running checkerboard 4K without the 4K assets and textures and the texture filtering.
Yeah, checkerboarding, as we've said before, is only going to get more common. It's being built into renderers natively, like Ubisoft. They even do it on PC with Watch Dogs and Rainbow Six, and it's going to be a thing more and more commonly. But at the same time, you've got to have that extra overhead for the RAM and for those additional graphics effects to give you what ultimately you're going to be really being wowed by at launch with games like Assassin's Creed.
Let me ask you guys something. Do you think checkerboarding just devs being lazy, or cutting corners?
No, I am confused because I'm confused at Ubisoft, because they tend to checkerboard everything, like Watch Dogs 2 was checkerboarded on X1 and PS4. But it's like, I've seen better or the same looking games that are running native resolutions. Why is your game checkerboarded? And that's kind of confusing to me. But other than that, I don't think it's because they're lazy. I think they just want to try to fill that screen as much as possible.
Ubisoft uses funky engines in a lot of their games. A lot of their games have the same look and feel. I play a lot of those Ubisoft games, and I think maybe checkerboarding may be a little bit of a crutch, but it's a way for them to get what they want and get frame rate priority. And so, I mean, that's their choice, right?
Yeah. And honestly, I hope they focus on options. There's a rumor that Battlefront 2 has a fidelity mode on PS4-Pro. That means it'll also probably have one on the X1X. That's going to be really cool, but maybe like I said, it's a rumor, but options are good. Yeah, I'm not complaining about different options on Tomb Raider at all. I think it's great and something to look forward to. So
that 1080p 60 that we requested, remember we were talking about that we wanted some of these developers to take advantage of the 1080p and give us 60 frames per second, give us the option. I like that. At least it looks like some of these guys are heading in this direction.
Yeah, and Tomb Raider in the 60 frames mode runs well above 1080, according to the developers. So that's good. They're able to give you a little bit of both, which is great. So just to sum up the 10 games played at Gamescom by Digital Foundry, they played Quantum Break, they played Gears, they played Assassin's Creed, they played Forza, they played what else? They played a bunch of different games, right? And then they confirmed that Gears of War 4 is native 4K. Of course, we told these forever ago. It's been confirmed by developers. But they also said, well, rather John from Digital Foundry says, that Gears 4 looks like it is running at its highest settings on PC at native 4K on X1X, which is great. That debunks the whole fucking medium settings or low settings at 4K. That's just silly. That's how you know that the person who's saying that's just an idiot and doesn't know what they're talking about anyway, right?
There hasn't been a single game that they've said looks like it's medium or low settings.
Not at all.
Never heard that.
They're getting settings boosts, no settings taken away.
In some instances, they said that the Xbox One X version actually was surpassing the PC version in some ways, like with anti-aliasing.
Yeah, like Forza 7, right? They have an AMD-specific anti-aliasing that is running better than the FXAA on PC, so you get a sharper line on like fences and stuff you probably would never notice. But it still serves to prove a point that you're getting some great looking games. Anyone else got an opinion on Gears or any of that before we move on?
Nope.
All right.
Nope.
Let's do it. Rather controversial video, and didn't get as much hate as I thought it would, but Call of Duty World War II running at basically what is 720p, 960 by 1080, same pixel output, almost as 720p. It runs as low as 720 on the base PS4. We're not ragging on the console. Keep in mind that means you're going to get a similar result on the Xbox One, the base Xbox One. These are just the numbers we have.
I'm sorry to interrupt. What about before you jump forward? I want to say what was the last Call of Duty running at on the base PS4?
I think it was 1080, and it was scaled down to 900.
So what happened here?
I think they're just finally adding effects.
Yeah, I think they're using a new engine, so no longer are they gimped by the last gen versions, and they're just going for it. So
It's about time they updated that engine.
these consoles, if they want the game, it's going to be running at 720p, and I guess the PS4-Pro and the Xbox One X, of course, will take advantage of the full fidelity of that game. So that's good. I like that.
But to be fair, I'm sorry.
Go ahead, man.
To be fair, the Call of Duty games have always looked really good, even on the 360 and PS3. I've always liked the way they looked. Even in multiplayer, they've always looked shiny and good. And
well, we're all about the frame rate,
shiny.
too.
Yeah.
You know, the frame rate is
Shiny.
Yeah, the frame rate suffered on the last Call of Duty on the PS4. The frame rate suffered on that console.
Yeah. So base resolution's at 720p, and it scales as high as 1080p. So that's on the base PS4. On the Pro, it scales to as low as basically what is right above 1080p. It's essentially 1080p at its low and 1440p at its high. They're doing it on different axes. So instead of 2560 by 1440, it'll be like 1662 by 1440, which is like as low as almost 1080p. And then, of course, you got the other axis as well, which basically equals 1440p by the time you get those pixel counts. I'm going West Web on everybody again. So that's according to gamingbolt.com. Interesting news with Call of Duty. No other thoughts? Anybody picking up COD World War II?
Yeah, I'm going to pick it up, but why was there no mention of Xbox One X performance?
Well, it's marketing with Sony, so they probably got that out there first.
So that's kind of interesting. So what would you think? I would think it'd be probably 1440p checkerboard up to 4K on the Xbox One X, if I had to guess.
I'm going to guess that, and this is a question I got a lot in the comments I couldn't get around to because I was working on 5 papers. I'm going to guess that it's going to be a native 4K, and it's going to scale as low as 1440p. So it'll hit 4K, but it'll scale down to half of 4K.
They'll use dynamic resolution instead.
Yes, that's what I'm going to guess. But this resolution seems kind of low for the Pro.
That makes sense for the frame rate. Yeah, I agree with you.
Yeah, so anybody else picking up COD World War II?
Yeah, I'm grabbing it. You know, I don't know. It's just kind of like it's a habit now. You know, you get it every year. You know, I enjoy the campaigns.
Yeah.
So you know, I'll play. I really liked Infinite Warfare. You know, surprisingly how much I liked it. I didn't finish Black Ops 3. That was a little bit too far fetched, but most of the campaigns I really dig. So
yeah, the last one I bought was Modern Warfare 3. I think. When did that come out? Was that after Black Ops 1?
Yeah.
So that was the last one I bothered with, and I kind of swore off of Call of Duty until the recent remaster release. I said fuck it. I went and picked it up, but nonetheless, it's looking great. It's the best looking Call of Duty of all time. The Zombies mode is directed by the guys who did Dead Space 1. Luke,
very excited for that. Yeah, absolutely, bro. Like, absolutely. I'm very excited for it. It's actually my first COD. I'm excited for that Zombies mode.
It's your first COD?
Yeah.
Wow.
Yeah.
You've escaped a lot of things.
Where the hell? What rock did you crawl out from?
Sir, excuse me, sir. I play single player games. I did come from the PlayStation, so.
Yeah. She's part fraud. Yeah. She's part fraud. It's all right.
Yeah, I mean, I just got my I got my Xbox October of last year, so you know.
Yeah. And that kind of serves to benefit the podcast. We got a lot of different perspectives and stuff in here as well. So that's awesome. Another great reason that Luke is here, aside from curb stomping random trolls in the comments. You're boring, fam. It's a really good reason to have Luke aboard as well. I want to talk about this, and this is the new feature coming to Xbox One X. Xbox One X patches will be basically available in the cloud. Well, let's reword that in a less idiotic way. Basically, they're going to fix Xbox One X to the point where you can have assets on your hard drive. It will store unused assets for your Xbox One X in the cloud. Now, that's to cut down on storage space. To my knowledge, this has not been done anywhere else, especially on consoles. So basically, this is what it says. The Xbox is looking to use the cloud to help 4K games take up less space on your hard drive. It's called Intelligent Delivery, and it basically reduces the size or the footprint of games and their 4K assets on your hard drive by removing the physical data from your hard drive, I guess, according, of course, with your permission, and putting that on the cloud. And then when you need it, it will basically be there when you need it. But it keeps the bits you need, it gets rid of the bits you don't, and it's all dynamic. You don't have to worry about anything. This is really weird. I've never heard of technology like this. I'm not saying it's never been done on like PC, but I know it's not been done on console. Any thoughts there?
At Gamescom, when Mikey Barr, brought it up and was talking about it, it kind of confused me because I didn't understand. Because he brought up, oh, well, you can have it on your home network and this and that, and I was like, what the hell is he talking about? But bring it to the cloud, now that makes more sense, because it saves your hard drive space. So that's a good idea.
It's just really unique. D, what do you think about that?
I'm curious to know if this will help with performance in any way, because or if it will hurt performance. I need to know more about it. It's interesting. I like that Microsoft is always pushing the envelope and bringing new things, but it's hard to fathom, what.
Yeah, it's really different. Colt, what do you think?
I'm thinking maybe it only takes a little bit, but each game, if you have a bunch of games installed on your X, each little bit makes a difference and saves room for another 2 games to be installed. And if it's just a minimal part that is partitioned out to the cloud to save your hard drive space, if it makes a difference over time, then that's a good thing. And it just shows that Microsoft is looking out for that concern that there's going to be 100 gig installs in games and stuff like that.
Well, yeah, that's exactly what I was going to say. We don't even know how big or small these games are going to be with the 4K assets, And like I said, if it saves hard drive space, I'm down with it.
There are people out there saying Forza 7 has a 100 gigabyte 4K patch and stuff. Like, there's confusion out there. So Microsoft really should release something and let people know the reality of the situation. Forza 7 on the X1X is 100 gigabytes in total, and I don't think it's too much smaller than that on the base Xbox One because they're using photogrammetry, which does take up considerable space.
And I think Halo 5 and Forza 6 are almost as big as that, aren't they? On the base Xbox.
Well, no, I don't think they're not near 100, but even with all the DLC, they might be 60, maybe.
Yeah, Halo is.
Halo is, yes.
Halo is 100% that.
But on the PC, I know that Forza Horizon is like 100 gigs. Gears is like 100 gigs because I have the 4K textures. So it's looking to be 100 to 90-ish, man.
Yeah. And Colt, you got a Twitter question for us? I want you guys to answer this one. My fucking battery's dying in my mouse. So let me go grab this, and I'll be right back.
Don't lie. You got to go to the bathroom.
Oh, yeah.
Okay, the first question is from our good friend Jago Kukin, who says, how many PS4 Pros does it take to equal the power of one X? D, give us the math.
1.5.
1.5. Yeah, probably about right. We know that the PS4 Pro's computing power in the graphics department is around 43% behind. Well, not behind that. I can't say math that way. But the Xbox One X is 43% better in the GPU department. And then as far as memory bandwidth and loading speeds, those are around 25 to 50%. So yeah, that's a pretty good number. Yeah, 1.5, which is pretty amazing for an extra $100. This other question is kind of disputed here. This comes from it's me, Danny P. says, if I have a 4K TV and it's not HDR, am I still going to see the benefits or differences on the Xbox One X? That's a question for D.
Yes, you will. So you'll still get the super sampling. You'll still he has a A 4K TV without HDR, you saying? Okay.
Yes, UHD TV.
He'll still get the 4K. He'll still get the 60 hertz. Unfortunately, he won't get the HDR, but that's only one aspect of it. He'll still get the 4K resolution.
D, how many games are we looking at in that enhanced list that have HDR? There's like maybe 10% of them or so.
Yeah, and I don't understand why these games are not supporting it, because games internally are designed with HDR already in it. The information's already there. So
I didn't know that.
Yeah, I don't understand what's the big holdup.
Well, it's
there's a considerable workload that you got to tune that HDR on a game by game basis. So I don't know. Some games like what games do support it? I know Halo
Horizon
2
3
will, Gears will, Horizon 3 will. Anything else?
Forza.
Yeah, but that's not. I guess that technically is a patched game, huh? Because it comes out right before.
Yeah.
Assassin's Creed.
Recore has it, but on PC it's like non-existent.
Yeah.
Yeah, it is. It's not. You're right.
I mean, there's a few supported titles, but yeah, you'll definitely still see the benefit on a non-HDR TV. But HDR is what really makes the 4K shine, because you get to see more of those details that are being provided by that high pixel density. Don't you laugh at me?
I'm laughing at Drago. Give us another question, bro, real quick for a minute.
Yeah.
Thanks a lot, Titan. I'm over here like giving my little spiel. One ups me with this comment.
Bumped and dumped.
Bumped and dumped. Hashtag.
Anyway, that's your answer. Good job, D.
Yeah, give us another question, bro.
Okay, since D-Lo missed the last one, let's see here.
Well, we get so many, right? So I try to fit in like at least 3 per show.
Yeah, and I'm looking like for the super hot ones that we haven't talked about already. Here's one from Xbox Mad Hatter, who's a good supporter of RDX. He says, "Do you guys believe Rise of the Tomb Raider looking better on X than even the PC version was a fluke?" Dealer, that's your.
I don't think that it. I'm not saying that it does look better in the PC version. According to developers, in the fidelity mode, you're basically getting all the everything on PC turned on. But keep in mind, PC can do that at 60 frames and whatever resolution you want. There's no ceiling. So don't worry about if it's better than the PC, because that's not a great comparison. We should really focus on the fact that for console guys, you're going to blow your face off and it's going to stick to the wall like some old baloney. Like, you're going to be really impressed. You're going to be very happy. This is what you really wanted in 2013. There are no negatives about this thing in terms of its performance. That extra speed from the hard drive and the RAM are really going to boot these games up and reload them much faster. Everything about it is going to be better in every single way. And the graphics are definitely a big part of that. So just be excited. Don't really bother comparing it to PC. It crushes the Pro in every way, and we're going to kind of get to that later. And that's the important part. And I just made like 3 or 4 super fucking fanboys mad when I said that. Get over it. It is the reality of the situation.
Let me throw one. I need to throw one more match on that. Xbox Mad Hatter, if you're listening, as far as the PC will always be better, just like a Ferrari will be better than a souped up Honda Civic, you know. But you're not going to get a better looking version on a $500 PC. In my experience, I may not be right. I think I'm right. But, you know, that's up for dispute. If you can, you know.
No, it's not up for dispute. You can't do it for $500. And even if you're getting close, you're still using some copy of Windows on a website, no mouse and keyboard in your build, and you still are 70, 80 gigabytes short on memory bandwidth per second. And, you know, there's just not enough there to ultimately compare like that. But for $500, no, you can't. The closest you can get is $580 with no mouse and keyboard and a rip-off version of Windows from a website. So don't worry about that, guys. Just know that good stuff's coming, you know?
I just want to add to that and saying that a lot of people are underestimating what's going on in the PC market right now. All the graphic cards are expensive right now. Even the RX 480s, like, as the miners are swapping them up and the prices have skyrocketed. Vega, you have Vega, it's like $599, $600+ right now. That's just for the graphics card alone. And then HBM memory is going to be increased in price, and just the memory across the board on the GPUs is going up. So in September, the cards are going to go up again. So that Xbox One X at $499 is not going to be such a bad option come November.
It's not. Regardless, it's not, because what people forget is that console guys are console guys. So don't worry about what these people tell you when a PC guy comments on your stuff or on like my video. They're just bored. I don't even know what the fuck they're doing there. So, you know, bottom line, guys, good stuff. Another good thing coming for Xbox One X is going to be available later through a patch on Xbox One is the ability to download Xbox One X patches beforehand. So on your Xbox One, you get an update, boom, it asks you if you want to get ready for Xbox One X. You say yes, you can basically decide to install all available patches for all installed games. So all the games that you have that actually have updates for X1X, it'll detect it automatically. You can choose to have those patches installed onto your external hard drive and bam, plug it into the X day one when you're ready and go and play. No downloading, no waiting, just go. What do you think about this?
When is that available?
I think it's in the next month or two. You're going to get an update.
Well, it definitely has to be before the One X comes out. You know.
Yeah, I just don't know exactly, so I'm just gonna, I'm gonna leave it a little wider open for discussion there. But it is coming soon. That's from Mike Ybarra. If you want to know more about it, I've got videos on the channel about it with links to whatever you need to know. So, any thoughts on this? The ability to download updates?
Well, that's it's convenient. That's for sure. You could just set it up, in the nighttime before you go into bed. Wake up in the morning, everything's done. Good to go.
Yeah.
Anything that makes it, streamlined, so you're not, you don't get your One X home and you're like, shit, now I got to download, 50 gigs of one game. You know what I mean? So it's nice to have it prepared for you, so you just plug and play basically.
Yeah, and 50 gigs is really big for a patch, so just keep that in mind. I've not ever seen any kind of resolution or texture pack that big except for Fallout 4, where they recoat the whole map of Fallout 4 in high-resolution textures, and it was 56 gigs, but I'd never seen anything close to that otherwise. So, I know.
There's something really appealing about coming home from an 8-hour day shift and just being able to pick up your X and plug it in and play. That's great.
Yeah, you don't even got to plug it in. If you plug it in, yesterday, right?
Yeah.
You just push a button on your controller, boom, you're good to go. Curated experience. Like I said, console guys and girls are console guys and girls for a reason. You just like it. So I think it's a cool feature. Anyone else got an opinion on this pre-installed patch business?
All right. It's good.
It's good.
Are you okay?
But I do got to give a shout out to 550 people watching live. You guys are the cream of the crop. Hit that like button. We appreciate it. You guys are awesome. Show your support by doing that. That's awesome. So no, Colt, you're just gonna leave it as it's good.
I don't know. It's one of those things where they're thinking ahead. Hey, this will be nice. Let's do this.
Yeah. They didn't have to do it. No one expected them to do it. They didn't do it with any other iterative upgrade console, and they're doing it, and that's awesome, right? So I think it's pretty cool. Xbox One, the fat launch version, ends production and sale. They no longer sell the fat one. I was very surprised by this. I thought they stopped selling it a year ago, or at least stopped making them. Thoughts on this? They've stopped making the 2013 launch Xbox One. It's just the S and the X now. They don't sell the OG one anymore.
Well, I'm sure there's plenty in the wild, you can still go buy one.
Oh, of course.
If you need it, but who's surprised by this? I don't think anybody is.
I was. I didn't know they were still even selling them unless they were still sitting with dust on them in the shelves.
I didn't know either.
Yeah.
Yeah, I'm sure you could find the bundled ones, that people never picked up. So
yeah, there's a few kicking around. I see them.
When I got that Xbox One S, I was so impressed by how great that new S is compared to what I've been looking at with my regular black shiny scratched up X, or my regular base model. It's just the new S is such a sleek machine. I can't wait to see this.
That's what happens when the service team has enough time to make it a console that they wanted to make,
They really rushed, didn't they?
Cole,
they didn't have enough time.
Cole, I just want to speak on what you said there. If that's how you feel, you're going to love the Xbox One X. I have felt it in my hands. It is actually smaller than the Xbox One S, and it feels just as sleek. I can't describe it, but
I want to play porn music when you're talking right now.
Some George Michael.
Turned on.
Well,
I'm so small.
I felt it in my hand.
It's perfect. It's just tight.
Yeah.
Okay.
That got Lucas' attention.
Yep.
Okay. Now here's the really cool Xbox One announcement, basically from Aaron Greenberg, and I really want to emphasize this because this is all I hear about, even from Xbox fans or these neutrals that say they're, they only hate the fanboys and that's why they shit on Xbox. That's a lie. They just use the fanboys as an excuse to hate on Xbox and try to use that as a crutch. It's just a lie. But a lot of these guys are complaining about games, right? And yeah, I would say for first party, it's been a little weak. Of course, we know that. And third party this year, it's also been kind of weak for the bigger publishers. Like last year, I remember playing more stuff at this time of the year, where really we've just kind of been in a drought, unless you're playing Hellblade or the Uncharted DLC, right? So basically, Aaron Greenberg says they've got lots of unannounced games, and they've got more Japanese support on the way. And this comes to us thanks to XboxTavern.com. Japanese support. What Japanese games do you think that could be?
Interesting.
So games like what is that? Fucking Nier Automata, right?
Yep.
Not that I personally care, but that's a good example. Maybe Nioh. Maybe Hellblade. I know that's not a Japanese game, but that's just an example of more games that are unannounced that could be coming. Hellblade and other games like that as well. Those are third-party games, not finite exclusives. They just came to PlayStation first, according to the developer. But yeah, he's sitting there confirming they got tons of unannounced games. And I think this is what we're talking about because this is all I hear about. Nobody gives a damn about this. I think it's pretty cool.
I think it's great. I think it's great because I'm really sick and tired of seeing people complaining about how Xbox doesn't have any games. Yeah. I'm like, guys, relax, okay?
Hey, Colt, tell us, how many games does Xbox have again?
1,300, if you don't count the backward compatibility games, which are installable and playable without a paywall.
So you've got well over, what is there, 400 back compat games. You've got 1,700 games minimum as of right now. And, I didn't know it didn't have any games, for one. Secondly, people say you don't have stuff to play on the X this year. You've got a bunch of stuff to play on the X this year. Forza 7, Assassin's Creed, Star Wars, Battlefront 2, Call of Duty World War II, Destiny 2. That's just this year. And off the top of my head, Shadow of War. And that's not even the back compat stuff, like, and the patch stuff, like Witcher 3 and Fallout and all these other amazing games that are going to be getting patched. I say there's too much to play this year.
Yeah, man, I agree. I feel like people have like selective amnesia and just choose to ignore this stuff. I honestly, I don't understand what's wrong with people, but whatever. We're getting more games, and I'm glad that Aaron Greenberg said this. Maybe people will calm down and shut the fuck up.
Speaking of amnesia,
Luca, the selective amnesia comes from them thinking Xbox has no games when they forgot that the first 3 or 4 years, PlayStation and Xbox had about the same offering for their gamers.
Exactly.
And two, I'd like to know what the chat thinks about this. Why do you think people randomly get amnesia and freak out and say there's not going to be anything to play when there's clearly so much to play? In my kind of perspective, anything you're playing on the PS4 this fall, you're playing on the X as well. You've got the same amount of stuff we've got to play, and that, of course, that's just my perspective, but it helps to have the much better versions as well. South, what do you think about this? Games coming, Japanese support coming?
You just pointed out what I was going to say. We're going to get the best possible version on the console, on the One X. So I don't really know if all those games that you named are going to come to the Xbox One X, but it'd be nice. It just adds more options for us,
What games particularly, like COD and Destiny?
Well, that's what I'll be playing. I'm most of my time I'm playing Destiny 2, but it'd be nice to get Hellblade on. I see a lot of people talking about Hellblade. It'd be nice to see it on Xbox.
I don't see why.
It would be cool to see Neo because I like that game. I just stopped playing for a while. That's all.
Yeah, D, what do you think, man? Games coming, Japanese support.
You know what? They always say that we don't have diversity over here, so it's good for the base. I'm not really into those type of games, but there are a lot of Xbox gamers out there that are. So this is good news for them. And Phil recently said he was over there making some deals, and that some stuff is coming. So now we're seeing some truth to all of that. So hopefully
that's walked in the Japanese office.
Why wouldn't they announce it?
Look at your legs. Give me some game.
I think they don't want to announce games too early. I think they're really on that tip, and I don't know why. PlayStation gamers are coming at us because they don't have anything this fall either. So, and it was just last year we were complaining that we were releasing exclusives in the fall time and getting slaughtered against these multiplats. So I would expect exclusives to start coming like February to like, April. That's when I really want to see some exclusives from the Xbox division. That's when I'm going to be done with these multiplats and I'm going to be starving for some new experiences.
Yeah,
Well said.
I agree.
Yeah, and another thing, I talk to a lot of gamers on my channel and on Twitter, and I talk to a lot of Sony gamers. And there's the usual 4 or 5 big games they got in 2017 that they talk about, but those other 30+ third-party titles that never came to Xbox, they don't talk about those games. Like some of the Japanese like niche titles, like I don't hear them talking about those games. And there's a reason. It's because they're not buying them, they're not interested. And more games is good, more options is good, and Xbox doesn't have those options, those games. But don't bash Xbox gamers and tell them they have no games when, there was only those few, and they're great games. Like the way you said, Neo and Persona and Horizon Zero Dawn and Nier Automata and Hellblade are big games. Right? Yeah, those are big games that came to PS4. They've had a great year, and so it's really unfortunate that PS4 had an outstanding, stellar 2017. Agreed?
Yes, they did. Yes, they did.
And Xbox had their worst year of the generation.
Yeah,
it just happened. That's how it happened.
So Alex wants us to run by games we're looking forward to. And I want to do that as well. Let's 2 games each that we're really looking forward to. It could be a patch game or a new game. And we'll start with you, Colt, since you were in the middle of your tangent there, man.
My rant.
Get on your soapbox.
I'm really looking forward to Crackdown 3, even though it's like 6 to 8 months away. Really looking forward to that game, and I'm also looking forward to the multiplats. Like I'm looking forward to Assassin's Creed Origins, and I'm looking forward to Wolfenstein.
Hey, I said 2, motherfucker.
No, sorry.
I'm kidding. After seeing that Crackdown multiplayer, that kind of off-screen footage that a lot of people haven't seen, I am super stoked for Crackdown 3's multiplayer. If you haven't seen it, it's absolutely insane. It shows the cloud destruction. Go check out my Crackdown 3 delay video. I use it as a backdrop. It is absolutely unrivaled destruction. It's so crazy. So that really got me excited for Crackdown. But the 2 I got to choose is because I'll be able to play them soon. Is going to be, as much as I really like Forza, I know I'm going to play Forza. I'm going to play it next month. Mm-hmm. But it's going to have to be Battlefront 2 and Assassin's Creed Origin. Because those games look so phenomenal, and I know they're going to play phenomenally as well. They're going to be massive games. What about you, Luca?
First game I'm going to play is Wolfenstein 2, and then after that is Assassin's Creed Origins. Those are the 2 I'm looking forward to the most.
Nice.
You know what?
Do it. You can do it.
Oh,
you
shit.
can do it. Well,
Yeah, one of you motherfuckers go.
God damn it. See, always a new guy has to fuck it up, right? Yeah, Destiny 2 will take most of my time, and then, like you guys said, Assassin's Creed. I'm a big Assassin's Creed fan, so I'm really looking forward to that.
It looks great, don't it?
Oh, it looks beautiful.
What about you, D?
Well, Forza by default, so I'll just take that out. The Crew 2 looked fucking amazing. They had some Gamescom footage of that. I can't wait to play that. And don't laugh. WWE 2K18. I'm a huge wrestling nut.
Really?
I love the games, but the new engine that they're using on this game, it's like finally at NBA 2K17, levels, 18 levels. So I'm looking forward to that.
So are you saying they tried?
Yeah, they did.
Okay. And the better question, D, is ultimately what everyone in the chat and the universe really is thinking is this going to get you to turn on your Xbox?
Oh, yeah. Yes. The Xbox will be turned on shortly.
That's
wow,
good.
D, when you were like, don't laugh, I thought you were going to say something like Super Lucky's Tale. I was like, oh no, is this about to go left? Is this like...
Hey, some people are excited for it, just like some people are excited for Knack, believe it or not.
But I will get, to be honest with you, I am going to get Super Lucky Tale, though. For sure, I'm going to get it. But it's not like the top of my list,
And people point out in the chat so many other great games like State of Decay 2 and more. It's so hard to choose. There's so much to play. I'm really excited to play even the Zombies mode on COD because knowing it's made by the Dead Space guys. And really, I had one more subject. I want to say thanks for watching, guys. Hit that like button. If you're still here, you're awesome. Show your support. I I wanted to talk about Microsoft's willingness, their open invitation, in fact, to invite Valve as well as other manufacturers like Nintendo, Sony for crossplay. They're still trying to get these other companies to join crossplay, and it's not happening aside from with the PC occasionally. What do you guys think? Are you even for this?
Yeah, you know what?
Yeah.
I would love to go up against, PlayStation players when I'm on the Xbox system or Nintendo heads and have the bragging rights, in sports games especially or first person shooters. This is pushing gaming forward, making us all be as like one as a community. I don't understand why these companies, mostly Sony, are against it. It's a good thing for gamers. We should be petitioning this shit, man, to say, hey, allow this to happen.
Amen, D. It would be, we fight about our plastic box online all the time, but going head to head against Xbox gamer versus Sony gamer online, that would be like the most positive competition against who is better. Like that would bring
like on the leaderboard it had a Sony controller. If your Sony guy set the time around a certain track in Project Cars 2, and then an Xbox controller for that guy, and they would go back and forth. I think it would be really cool. And somebody in the chat, Gab, has a good question. He says, do you think they could raise the frequency on the X and the CPU up to 3 gigahertz? No, they cannot, because JAG cores, according to AMD, only go up to about 2.4, 2.5 gigahertz maximum until they burst into flames. So they've gotten it almost as high as it can possibly go.
Until they red ring.
We already know there are enhancements on that, though. That 1 gigahertz is not going to change. It's not going to close the frame rate gap between the PS4 and the X1X on Rise of the Tomb Raider. Digital Foundry have already said they've seen this running at 60 locked on parts of the levels in Rise of the Tomb Raider on Pro that the frame rate's everywhere at, right? So yeah. I'm sure it will drop on Rise of the Tomb Raider, but it's doing substantially better in some of these other areas, meaning some of those faster queue times and all that less latency on the X1X CPU, as well as perhaps that DX12 issue they got going on there, is really helping there. Yeah,
I saw the Hot Chips. I've been reading up on the Hot Chips presentation, and that increased the increased latency. Sorry, the decretion of. I can't speak right now. You know what I'm trying to say? They decreased the latency on it. They improved the latency on the CPU there, as well as the DX12 chip, and it's detailed on the. On Hot Chips, it's quite a significant
added more
improvement
L2 cache and everything.
It's quite an improvement on the CPU. So yes, it's not what we really wanted it to be, but the improvements that they made will bear fruits in some of these games.
Yeah, and provided it's not a CPU bottleneck, developers, anyone listening, possibly, maybe not, 60 frames per second options. That's more of those the better for everyone. I think we can all agree on that. So.
Oh yeah, for sure.
Basically, Microsoft opening invitations up to Valve. That means Steam, Nintendo, Sony, everyone for crossplay, which is very interesting. They just did that with Rise of Nations. And I do got to say, and we covered this last week in RDX, Microsoft, bring Age of Empires Definitive Edition and Age of Empires 4 over to Xbox One. It can be done. You can do it. And as an Xbox fan and as an RTS fan, that's what I want to see. I'm sure I'm not alone. So, let's start with outros, man. Thanks for showing up, guys. If you're still here, once again, finger bang that like button, show your support. Luca, how have you been? What have you been up to? Where can people find you? All that good stuff.
Yeah, I've been good, bro. It was a really awesome show tonight. Thank you, D, for coming on. And Salfi, like I said before, really, really happy that we have you on the panel. And you can find me you can find me at the Ash and Luca on Twitter. And I'll post links to Speak Podcast, which is every Sunday at 2 p.m. Eastern Standard Time.
Awesome. Cole, how you been?
Really good. Trying to finish it up, Agents of Mayhem. It's slightly wearing at this point. I'm like halfway through unlocking the agents, and
let people know why it's kind of repetitive. I've heard you say this.
So when you're out in the city, it's really, really awesome, but very often they take you into these underground layers that look the same, and you fight in there, and then all of a sudden it says now exit the layer. I'm like, what?
So you kind of just run through those underground bunkers over and over, and
but you're not in there very, very as long when you're in there. But the game is really good. I'd really recommend you guys pick it up and give it a shot. It looks really nice. It's fun. The humor is really dorky. It's really cheesy, but the characters are pretty cool, and they all kind of play different. So yeah, it's a fun game.
I just realized that I'm a fraud. I know it took me a while. I know. I forgot to do the fucking giveaway. So I want to do that real quick. Yeah, I know, right? I want to give away the copy of Sonic Mania, thanks to Lethal Papa. Once again, shout out, brother, to Everett. Everett, Everett. Please get a hold of me via DM. Of course, I leave that open, so anyone can always contact me. And I will get back to you in the next 24 hours, bro. Congratulations, Sonic Mania.
Awesome.
Enjoy.
Nice.
South, man. Let us know how you've been, brother, where they can find you. Of course, you are a new permanent member of the podcast. You'll be back next week.
Yeah. So it's nice to be have a home now. You know what I mean? So I pop up on Crossfire every now and then. So I might be on Crossfire this Friday.
Mhm.
But you can always hit me up on Twitter at Southbound110. Hit me up on Xbox Live. My gamer tag is South.
Awesome. Just South. Yeah. SOUTH. Like he's been there that long. So, D, brother, let us know what's going on with you, man.
So I know I haven't been really updating my channel lately, but I'm going to be putting up a video tomorrow of Samsung's frame. Like I said, I've been spending so much time at these TVs lately, so there'll be some footage of that going up. You guys can catch me at dbatch on Twitter, and that's about it. Thanks for having me, guys.
Yeah. Thanks, D.
Oh, man.
Bonds, what you been up to?
Yeah, Fonz. How's your vasectomy going, bro? All day.
Hey, it took the
What the
vasectomy
fuck?
took the first time it actually went through. Actually, no,
How you gonna hop into
Hey.
the podcast?
my son. Hey, I have my son listening to the show. He loves the show, by the way. He's visiting from Florida, and he's out here just listening with me. And I said, you know what? I'm gonna sneak in there. So
Well, we gotta say hi to your son.
well, he's downstairs right now. But
Oh, okay. Well, your son's a fraud. No, I'm just kidding. Thanks for jumping in, man.
yeah, no. Hey, I don't want to take. I just wanted to sneak in and just be quiet here. But I guess you guys noticed. Anyway, yeah. So I've been hanging out with my kids, man. That's about it.
Back next week, right?
Back next week.
All right. For all the fraudomaniacs out there, you wait for Fraudarelli to come back. He'll be back next week. And of course,
I do
say
want to say
what?
something though. I want to say something to South. Hey man, congrats. Welcome aboard.
Yeah, thank you, man. It's nice. You guys have been very welcoming, and it's really humbling because I appreciate all the love you guys have shown me. So thank you.
Hey,
It's
man.
all fun. It's all fun. That's how we keep it here. No other objectives of the podcast, but to have fun and inform people and get our opinions out there. So once again, thanks for joining us, South. Good having you on, D. We'll see you back next week, Fraudarelli. And of course, for those watching, once again, thanks for the support. Share it if you can, and do what you do. You guys support like a motherfucker. So we appreciate it, and we're out, guys.
Bye.
thanks, guys.
Peace.
Peace.